Welcome everyone. I'm super excited. I've been looking forward to this talk since Mo said yes. I just want to know, like, can I introduce you as Morgan Smith or Mo Smith? What would you prefer?
Mo's good.
Mo. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Mo. Saw Mo present work at the African American Museum of Philadelphia. I don't remember. Was it February, January? Her work blew my mind, and I just am excited to have her talk about the way she works, because she creates amazing street portraiture, people portraiture, and also fashion that connects to a poetry that is all your own, all her own, and all her models. And also, Mo's been documenting the protests. And Mo happens to have taken, I think, one of the most powerful pictures from the protests in Philadelphia that I've seen. And and also she puts together these art shows that supports women artists. And she's going to talk about that as well. So it's just a Renaissance woman and a super great talent. And welcome, Mo, and thank you for presenting your work today.
Of course. I'm super nervous. Sorry, I'm trying to find one more photo I wanted to add to this. I'm trying to add to the presentation. Of course, I am a very frazzled Pisces, so apologies. I don't like talking about myself a lot, so I really want this to be like a discussion. So I have a short little presentation, just to like tell you a little bit about me and my background. So I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Okay, can you guys see?
Yep.
Okay, so a little bit about me. I heard someone mention, Ursula mentioned you were in finance or doing something.
Yes.
I don't know if she can hear me or if she can talk or not, but so basically I started photography about 6 years ago. Actually went to school for accounting, which is why I brought that up. Finished with a degree in accounting and finance, and was actually working in accounting for about 3 years when I decided to buy a camera one day on a whim. I've always been really drawn to photography, like even in high school. Like I like taking pictures of my friends, nothing like too serious or artsy, but it was just always something I was drawn to. And so, I finally had my big girl job and, had a couple bucks and decided to buy a camera. I didn't really know what I was doing. I started off shooting friends and family, just playing around with it. And for the first time in my life, I don't know, it was finally like the first time I ever felt like I got something, I felt good, really good at it. And I just kept going. I went from shooting friends and family to shooting concerts. I have a few friends who are musicians, and I got into concert photography. And then I ended up starting to reach out to models on Instagram. So basically everyone in these photos I'm showing you, I've reached out to on Instagram. I might have some of them weren't even models. I just saw a selfie and I was like, ooh, this girl's interesting looking, or this guy's interesting looking. And I would just DM them and be like, hey, would you ever model for me? And, they're usually like, yeah, or sometimes they say no, but, because that's one thing people always ask me is where I find my models, all on Instagram, literally almost every single one. I've just slid in the DMs. And it's just really been something that, I don't know, I feel like it completed my life a little bit. And about a year and a half ago, 2 years actually, 2 years ago, I left my last accounting job, and I've been doing photography full time since then. And it's been really awesome, and I love it. That's basically all I got for like talking about me. I would love to like open it. Oh, I also like host an all women's art show called Time to Pretend that I started about 3 years ago, and it was still I'm a very like on the whim kind of non-planning person, so I was just like, I want to have an art show. So I just started it. I just started planning it, and it took off from there. It started off as like a birthday party essentially for myself with like 5 other friends who happen to be artists. And there were like 100 people there, and it's blown up to like a two-night, twice a year event with over like 700 guests. That's a video to the art show. I wasn't sure if you'd want. You don't have to watch that though.
Let's watch it. It might be a little choppy, but I really would love for people to see it.
Okay. Whoop. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second.
Right.
If I can figure it out.
You have to. It's at the top of the screen. To stop share.
Do you see it? Or can you see it still?
I can see your screen. Yeah. You might have to stop and then restart.
Oh, I see it. Stop share. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay. And we're back. Let me know if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
No. There we go. Wait, go back.
Go back.
It had sound for a second.
This is the 3rd one. We're on the 7th one now. So.
Every year you do this?
Twice a year. Every March and every September. But of course, with coronavirus, we got a little thrown off by that. So we had to put it on pause. But
it's a different place every time?
Yep, every time I do it somewhere different. This was at Warehouse and Lots, which is a really cool spot.
And it's just for women artists to sell their work, right?
Yeah, only female artists. Open to non-binary as well. Right. And we have vendors. Everyone keeps their money. Like, I don't take any cuts. It's just like a place for people to come and see art and empower women and just like meet people. A lot of people say it's like more of a party sometimes than an art show. People meeting.
So, and then you get all the booze in the restaurants. They come and bring their stuff as well.
Yeah, I get everyone to donate. I've worked with like Favor and PBR, Code Gin. Like, I like to get a lot of local Philly places who come and donate. Yeah, it's open bar as well, which is a big draw.
Do people pay a cover to get in?
It's $15.
Yeah.
Oh, this is making me so sad. It didn't happen yet this year.
It looks amazing. I don't want to miss the next one. So, are the artists, the vendors, do they come out of it with lots of sales? Are they happy with it besides just the great time?
Yeah. Everyone, sorry, I couldn't tell if like can you see me again?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, each night I have 15 vendors, and I switch the vendors both nights, so it gives like a lot of people an opportunity to come vend, and each night has about 350 people. So, and people come to spend money, which is awesome. Like, people come to support women, and like it's just a really beautiful experience. It's something that I really love putting on. And there's nothing to it but to do it, is what I say.
Right.
People are always like, how do you do an art show? I was like, I literally just like called around. I found a venue, and you just start pulling people together. I also curate, or the past 2 years I've curated the mural arts auction. They do an auction every year. And so I guess I can add curator to my resume, which was never a plan, but it's something that's really cool and fulfilling. And I noticed that, the main reason why I started is because I noticed in Philly, there tends to be like, there's kind of like a little clique of like 10 to 15 artists that like get all the exposure and get all the opportunities every time there's like a cool collaboration with like a restaurant to do a mural or something. It's always like the same 10 to 15 people, and they're all great artists, and I think that's cool. But I just wanted to like give people a platform that don't typically have it, you know. And every show I have different artists as well. I very rarely repeat artists, so if anyone ever wants to be a part of it, let me know. Well, I have the artist pick for this next one whenever it ends up happening, but next March, I guess, will be the next one after that.
If you can put in the chat, possibly a way for people to contact you if they are interested in being considered for a future Time to Pretend, that might be lovely.
Yes, please.
Email me.
So
I also have I wanted to share my I have a little separate presentation just with my behind the scenes, how I shoot, because my new thing now is, so I live in Philly, right? I've lived here my whole life. I don't have a car, so I do a lot of shooting. All of my shooting is done in Philadelphia, unless like a model has a car and wants to drive to like the beach. But for the most part, I shoot in Philly, so a lot of what I do is like trying to make Philly look not like Philly. You know, I do love Philly, but it's you know, it's the city. There's not a lot of nature going on. So I started shooting. Oh, and this is also when I was working full time. I really just needed an outlet for shooting, and you know, especially in the winter, you get out of work at 5 o'clock and it's already dark out. So I started shooting during my lunch breaks, which was 30 minutes. I'd meet someone outside of my job. We'd run around trying to find a spot, or it would be something I picked out already, and we would just start shooting wherever. Like, I've had people lay in like flower beds that are like planted in front of an apartment building. Hold on, let me bring am I sharing my screen right now?
No, not yet.
Ugh, I'm like the worst. I'm not being a very tech-savvy 30-year-old.
Great.
I'm a millennial, I swear, I know what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. So like, yeah, this is up at Sierra Green. I don't know if any of you know where that is in University City. We also immediately got yelled at for being up here. And the guy was like, "You can't be up there, get down." And I was like, "Sorry." He let me get my shot though. This was in a pile of sand, construction sand. I don't even know what this is, to be honest. But a lot of people trust me too, which is nice, because I was like, "Allie, go get in that pile." And she was like, "All right, I got you." And I was like, "Wow, thank you for the trust." And then, it looks like she was on the beach. This was a lunch break shoot. We literally had to pick up dog poop before he could lay down. So it was like really trying to make it work, you know. And I also take self-portraits, which is a lot of what I've been doing. Hold on, I'll show you some self-portraits too. I've been taking a lot of self-portraits in my apartment since quarantine started, or self-isolation. I'm a bit of a hypochondriac, so I was like super adamant about not being around other people. And I was like, well, I guess I just have to be my own model now. So I started shooting, and I shot all of them in my apartment, a lot of them with like the overhead light of the apartment, or like just like a lamp in my apartment. It was all, I don't really have a lot of professional gear, which is another big thing I like to talk about, because so many people think that like you need expensive gear, you need like the latest camera or the best equipment to make stuff work, or you need a studio. And like, I don't have access to those things. I got my camera. I have a nice camera. I have a tripod, and like I have some lights, and that's basically all I have. So it's all about working with what you got. And I feel like a lot of people feel limited by not having access to those things, and it holds a lot of people back. And I also know people who have like the most expensive gear ever, and like that doesn't make you a photographer. I mean, it makes, you take pictures, you're a photographer, but you can have the best camera, and if you don't have an eye for it, you know, that camera is not going to make your work any better, you know? So I started off on a T3i, which is like a $300 camera, and it did what I needed it to do, and it helped me learn. And I eventually moved up because I shoot weddings and I needed something like a little more reliable. But yeah, basically the point of that was like, don't let those things hold you back, because I know so many people do. And I did for a while too. It took me a while to get my camera, or to get the camera that I wanted, you know, so.
I think, and the other thing that you do, Mo, is you show when you post your process. I think that's why there's so many people who love your work, is because you share not just the image, but the how and the space around the image of making the image. And that's why when I speak of your work, it's just so incredibly generous to both the subject matter, but also to your audience and the people who love photography.
Thanks. Yeah, I think transparency is really important to me. Sometimes I'll like post, I'm a little too transparent sometimes, and my sister's like, why are you putting that up there? Like, why are you telling people that? They're giving away your secrets. And I'm like, it's not secrets. Like, you know, people know that. I don't know. I just want to spread the knowledge and like make sure people know that they can do this too. I don't know. I don't, you know, trespassing aside, this this was right in front of Chop on the South Street Bridge. And I saw these flowers, and like we were meeting up. I didn't even know where we were going to shoot. And I just happened to look across the street, and I was like, oh, those things look like they're from the Lorax. And so, and then we just ran over there, and she got up in there, and I took the photo. And I've been shooting a lot behind my apartment as well. I'm really big on natural light. As someone who, you know, I didn't go to school for photography. I'm not like formally trained. So I'm pretty self-taught, or like a lot of, I don't know if you guys ever went to meetups, but that was like a really big thing. Like 4 years ago, everyone would meet up at a certain point in the city, and then we would just go on photo walks, and like we'd literally just walk around the city. If we saw something cool, we'd like be like, oh, stop, and everybody would stop, and like we'd have models there, and everyone would take a picture of the model, and we'd all compare our photos. And like I learned so much that way. It was like a real big community kind of thing, and I'm super thankful for that, because they don't really happen that much anymore. But that was like a really big way I learned a lot of what I do, just from other people, friends, and met a lot of really cool people. I'm actually thinking about starting those up again, so keep an eye out for that too. I really want to start doing those again, the meetups again. That's my favorite effect. I like to put plastic bags on my camera to give it like the hazy, dreamy look. That's a Wawa bag. And it's just like about playing around. I play around a lot. I'll put a bunch of random things in front of my camera. That was like a little tea light, one of those fake tea lights, made that orange effect on the side. Well, that was in there already. Then like I use these flowers to like, it's really a lot about experimenting and like trial and error, and just like figuring things out. My boyfriend found this this cloth that sitting outside was like somebody's free stuff they had moved, and was just like, free, take it. And he saw that and was like, ooh, she would love to use that for a photo shoot. Like he literally, because he knows that I'm doing stuff like this all the time, and he you know, so people know people gift me random things all the time like this, because they're like, I thought you could use this in a photo shoot, and I'm like, thanks. So that's basically that. Stop share. Okay, I'm back. You see me, right? Okay. So that's basically it on my presenting thing. But someone just gave a suggestion for where to shoot. Yes. Oh, should we do you want to do questions in the chat, or like just talk?
No, I mean, it's open, but you know, I think people didn't want to interrupt you, but answer these. But if people want to ask questions after this, so yeah, Monique is our Fairmount Park. She's our guide to Fairmount Park. I think Monique knows a ton about the park. And Monique, do you want to talk a little bit about some of your suggestions?
Yeah, in Fairmount Park, you have a string of mansions. I think altogether, you near 33rd and Dolphin, Burberry Mansion House, Mount Pleasant, Laurel Hill. They have pine cones. They have gazebos. There's the Discovery Bird Center is not far. So you see blackbirds, hawks. What else do you see? Groundhogs.
Nature, I need this.
Yeah. Someone during the pandemic, well, we're still in the pandemic. Every day I go to the park, I see something different. I took pictures. Someone took sticks and made teepees. So there are teepees all around the park. Someone took branches, and my sister goes, sometimes she'll stack a rock. Someone will come after us. They'll place flowers on the rock. Someone will come by with chalk and do artwork on the rock. We go back the next day, there are bows, ribbons, hair barrettes attached.
It's like a community art, and like people just come and add to it. That's awesome.
There's something different. There's wild strawberries growing back there. There's lemons, strawberries, blackberries, mulberry trees. You see a woodpecker. There's a woodpecker every day doing a mating call and just chopping at the tree. So it's a lot out there. Oh, and a beehive.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
One of the houses, one of the caretakers, he take care of the bees. So you might go out there and see him capping jars of honey. So there's a lot going on there.
I gotta get down there.
Oh, and they have a building that's falling apart, and they have a gate around it. It used to be a concession stand, I think, in the 1950s. The building is still there. They have archways. It's a nice place to take pictures.
Where's that?
On Greenland Drive. So you have 33rd and Dolphin, then you have Chesley Drive. So as soon as you go to 33rd Street, 33rd and Dolphin, you'll see the mansion. If you walk around Woodford Mansion, I'll write all the mansions down. They're all close. They're all within walking distance. You have Boxer's Trail.
Oh, I know where that is. Yeah.
Yeah, you have Boxer's Trail where Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier used to run. So I'll just write them down.
Yeah, I would love to know where that is because I'm always looking for new places. And actually a lot of the photos I shot, I don't know, I'm trying to think if I could go back to a specific one, but basically anytime I've ever shot in what looks like a field. Here, let me share my screen again real quick. Share screen. Like this here, this was shot in this field by Graffiti. You ever hear, I don't know if you guys have heard of Graffiti Pier, but it's in Port Richmond. And one time I was going to shoot at Graffiti Pier because that's like what everyone does when they first start photography and they're like learning the cool places to shoot. But then there was this field next to it that was just like this unused land. I don't know what it used to be, if anything used to be there, but it was just an open field. And every time, hold on, I'm trying to find another photo that was shot there. This was shot there, like Port Richmond. This is Port Richmond. There and so yeah, anytime I shot in a field, this was shot there. That's where I shot. But one time I saw guys in suits with clipboards about like a year ago, and I just walking around the field, and I was like, uh-oh, this is not a good sign. And drove by it literally 2 days ago, and they started construction, and they're building something there now. So now my field is gone. This was shot there, and every time I went, there were new flowers, or like the grass looked different, or there were one year there were sunflowers. Like every year this was shot there. Every year was it, or every time I went, it was something different. So now that I think that's, oh yeah, and this was shot there too. So yeah, anytime I needed to be out, like in what seemed like a field, that's where I would go. But yeah, the long story short, I'm looking for new places now that place is gone.
Oh,
So
and you had the cemetery. You have
Ooh,
Mount Laurel Hill Cemetery at 38th and Ridge.
good. Always looking for locations.
And Woodland Cemetery in West Philly
Yeah.
is beautiful. Hey man, let me just put these. Let's keep writing these, Monique. These are great. I seriously can't believe that some of those pictures. I can't believe that some of those pictures were taken like in a small patch of corporate gardens. You know, I mean, like it's insane what you do with space. So Ginny asks, how do you and the models collaborate? What they wear, where to shoot?
So usually, like I said, I'm not like very good at planning. So a lot of the time when I shoot, I don't always, I'm going to say like 75% of the time, I don't have, no, that's not right. I'll say 50-50. I don't really know what I'm going to be shooting. I don't have like a lot of people like to make mood boards and have like a whole concept and like a whole, and that's cool. And I want to start doing more of that, like more really involved, like hairstylist, stylist, makeup artist kind of shoots. But for the most part, I'm like, just show up, bring a bag of clothes. Like, so they'll just bring like a bag of things, like just like pretty dresses or like plain shirts, or I might have like a piece of jewelry that I really want to use, and so I'll like send that, and then we'll build around that. So yeah, that's basically how we do it. And then we get to the spot and we just start working. I might like see something in the corner, and we'll build the whole shoot around that. I also have I like to buy things at their stores and stuff, so I have like I just have like a bag or a big box underneath of my couch full of random props that I've been collecting over the years. And, something might pop up that day, or like I might see a spot as I'm like riding my bike somewhere, and I'll be like, oh, I just remembered I have those gloves that would match that house or something. And then like we'll build all around that. And then where to shoot, it's typically, lately I've been kind of like, I've been being a little, not lazy, but just not, I mean, pre-pandemic. So I was just shooting a lot behind my apartment and not really going anywhere, especially because I was getting frustrated with like finding locations. So all of these suggestions are going to be really helpful and like, I think really reinvigorate my work. And most of the working is, or most of the model work I do is purely a collaboration. There's no money involved. I saw someone ask, I just thought I would piggyback on that. It's trade, TFP is what they call it, trade for print, but it's like mostly like, I know I'm going to benefit from it, like my portfolio will benefit from it and their portfolio will benefit from it. And so we just come together and work.
There's a question from Beatrice. Can you talk more about your editing style? How do you decide your color editing choices? What inspires your self-portraits? Oh, that's nice.
Okay, so as I mentioned before, I am not trained professional, or like, I'm not, I didn't go to photography school. So editing has always been like a thing I don't really like doing. I still don't know how to Photoshop. I'm getting to that. I'm with all this time we have now, I've been learning little things here and there when I like really needed to learn how to do something. But for the most part, I use Lightroom, and you just do basic edits there. And then and this is something that's very frowned upon in the photography community for some reason, but I think that I use Visco Cam, VSCO. I don't know if you guys know about that. No, yes, some people, yeah.
Yes.
So they make filters, I guess, but a lot of people, presets is what they're called, right? Okay. And so after I do my basic edits, I go into VSCO and I pick which preset I want to use, but then there's a lot of tweaking, and I have like personalized ones. You can combine them and, make them fit how you want. I go through phases. Like I went through a dark and moody phase. I went through, light and airy, and now I'm kind of just doing whatever feels right, I guess. So my editing choices, I guess, in the coloring, and it depends on like the mood I was going for or for the concept I use. Yes, thank you for linking to that. And then my self-portraits. So it's actually funny. You can ask my boyfriend. Most of my self-portraits that I've been shooting over this whole self-isolation deal have been me bored. I'll like sit down. But the other thing I've been trying to work on, sorry, I'm like so rambly. The thing I've been trying to work on is getting good at makeup. So I'll sit if I'm bored at like midnight and I'll just like do some random makeup look. And then I'm like, oh, this looks kind of cool. And then I'll bring together random, like the prop drawer I have under there, under my couch. I'll be like, oh, this is kind of glam. Like I'm going to grab those gloves I have, or like that pearl necklace that I bought, and like throw it together. So boredom is what inspires my self-portraits, I guess. And then like, as I said, I'm always like randomly throwing things together, and I actually shot, I'm trying to find the photo. I shot this one self-portrait and I needed a dark background. So I actually woke Max up. Max is my boyfriend. I woke him up and was like, I need the blanket you're using. and he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I need that gray blanket to use for black backdrop. And he was like, like, let me take it. It's this. Oh, I forgot to share my screen. I was like, it's this one right here. Hold on. Share screen. Okay, the one on the right in the middle with the diamond necklace and the diamond earrings, that right there is our blanket. And then I up top where I shot by my fridge is like sheets. I buy a lot of sheets from like Target and stuff when they're on sale that are cool colors. And the bottom left with the crown is a tapestry I got from Amazon. They make for really cool backdrops, by the way. Tapestries and shower curtains are really cool for using as backdrops. And then down the bottom right, the red is a curtain. So like, I have a lot of fabric laying around my house. I'm very inspired by fabric. I actually never thought about that until now. Fabric inspires me. Stop share. It's me again.
Oh, I like looking at the pictures. I can say.
Oh yeah, instead of me.
No, I love looking at you.
You don't want to look at my face.
I love looking at you too. You're so silly. So I just want to say personally, looking at your work makes me want to contribute. Like now I'm going to be looking around and looking for things. And like, if I find something that makes me think of you, I'm going to be like, I can drop this off in Mos. Because there's something about the spirit of the way you work makes people want to be part of it. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it's so inclusive, and it just makes people want to, be somehow have something to add. Like it's additive, it's generative. So that's just my comment.
Oh, thank you. And I would love that. And that's it. That goes back to like the sense of community kind of thing. I really like because I'll see things that like I think my friends would like too. Like I have a friend, John, who's really into, he leans more towards fashion, like more editorial style stuff. So like if I see something that's really cool, like at a store or something, I'll be like, oh, John, like you should go I could so see you making this into something beautiful, And so this crown here was made out of zip ties. I made that. Oh wait, I forgot to talk about the other. Oh God, too many presentations. Where'd the other one go? I'm really big on making props too. That's like really fun for me because that's like its own project. This right here, I made out of the crown I'm wearing, and this is made out of Afro picks.
Hey.
So I chopped off the pick part, and it's a paper plate. It's literally a paper plate that I cut to fit my head, Afro picks, and then some like some little paper flowers I bought from AC Moore or something, and then I just spray painted it and turned it into a crown. So it's like, it's all about, I don't know, thinking outside the box. And you can find inspiration anywhere. And I thought of this after, with everything that's been going on, Black Lives Matter and George Floyd. I was just like, I want to make a crown. Like, I just want to make like a Black Pride crown. And I was like, oh, Afro picks. Those fists are awesome. Because I always thought they were really cool. So, I don't know. It's all about finding inspiration everywhere. Like, just, you can find it anywhere. I think I was watching the news or about I fall asleep to TV a lot, and sometimes it's the news, which is not a good idea because I've had weird nightmares based on whatever was playing on the news while I was sleeping. But I think that this one came to me right before I thought of that as I was falling asleep and probably listening to like a news story or something.
A couple questions. What is your camera setup now? Like, what is your lens that you use? What's your favorite lens?
So now I have hold on, I kind of want to show it to you guys because I'm really, hold on. Just gonna jump over my couch real quick. So I have a T3i. I started with a T3i Canon, and now I have a 5D Mark III. But my camera, I was just looking at it the other day, is very, very, very beat up. I'm missing buttons. This like little toggle thing fell off, but it's because I use it a lot and it's loved, I also shoot party photography, so I've dropped it a few times at parties, having like drunk people knock into me and stuff, which you got to learn again to not be too attached to things. That's why I think it's good to like have kind of beat around stuff sometimes, because you never know what's going to happen. But so I have a Mark III right now, and for my body. And then my favorite lens that I learned on was actually, they call it the Nifty 50. It's the Canon 50-1.8. It's like $100, and it's one of the best lenses ever. It's literally my favorite lens. And whenever someone's starting photography, I always tell them, like, don't use the kit lens unless you get like a full frame camera, because they come with nicer lenses. But like I think it's an 18 to 55 is what comes on the Rebel, and like cheaper cameras, is just like throw that away and start. I like shooting prime. I don't really like zoom lenses unless I'm shooting weddings. So the 50-1.8 was my favorite, but I have the 1.2 now, and it's awesome. But it's not even my favorite lens anymore, actually. I really love the 35, actually. 35 is my favorite. I feel like that's like a pretty standard. That's like what most people gravitate towards. It's kind of perfect. And it's perfect for self-portraits, too. So that's what I'm using now. Do you want to, I'm reading the questions, too, now, but it's organized when you do it, so you...
Oh, so I just
feel like I'm gonna be tripping.
Yeah, my street is noisy this summer. Okay, love your works from Hannah. Love your work. Are you getting hired to make portraits? Are you getting hired to make portraits? You mentioned weddings. Is that the bulk of how you support yourself in the portraits you make?
So I do get hired. I shoot portraits. I'm like, I shoot portraits for money. People hire me or like commission me or whatever to shoot portraits. So yes, I do that. And I shoot weddings. But weddings actually stress me out a lot. Like a lot. I really don't like shooting them. So I shoot probably like 10 a year. And I either have to know you just so that I know like the kind of person you are. Like I shoot a lot of like people from high school that I knew their weddings, but it's all chill people. I can only shoot chill weddings, like super chill. Like if you like, and like that, I don't think there's anything wrong with like knowing what you want. I'm not going to use that term bridezilla because I think it's sexist and stupid. But if you've got like a list of shots that you want, it's not going to work. Because like I'm there, I kind of look at it as more of like a photojournalist kind of thing, where like I'm there to document the day You know, like I want to tell a story. I want it to be just like I wasn't there. I'm like a fly on the wall basically, and I'm just like shooting what's happening. And like obviously I do portraits. Like that's something that I really enjoy about weddings. I love shooting the portraits before. But I guess I could bring that up too while I talk. So yeah, so I say from the jump, you know, like I'm pretty relaxed, and I can read people and emails and like tell what they want. So that's typically how I do that. How I support myself is through weddings, but not as much because I only shoot like once a month. I bartend for fun. I really, because I have a lot of free time now that I freelance, you know, and I was like, I need to do something else with my time. So I started bartending at this bar I've been going to for like the past 6 years. So might as well work there because I was always there. And I've been selling prints lately, which has been extremely lucrative, which I wasn't expecting. But I just started doing that because I haven't been able to work at all because of the pandemic. So that's basically what I've been doing. Here's some wedding stuff though. I could share this. And these are literally all, I think I went to college with the kid in the middle. I went to high school with the girl on the left. How do I work this? I used to work with these people. So it's always people I know because they do make me really nervous. And I'm always scared, like, what if I miss the first kiss, or like my camera breaks I have a second shooter, but they're just like very high stress situations for me. So I really don't shoot weddings ever. These people are like tattoo artists. So like I knew they would be super chill, and they wanted to meet at the bar they met, and they were like taking shots when I got there. And I'm like, yeah, these are the kind of people that I need to shoot weddings for. Just like people having fun. That's at City Hall. And I always know people getting married at City Hall are going to be chill too, because they're like, we're not doing a whole wedding. We just love each other, and like, we're just going to City Hall and getting this done. You know,
That's great.
So yeah, that's some wedding stuff. Okay, I'm back.
Thank you. So Patricia writes, I love your energy. I think you would like Zanelli Maholi. I don't know if you know Zanelli Maholi's work. Okay.
I do not. I'm also really bad at knowing. I need to like do more research. My boyfriend got me like a big book of photographers and fashion designers, and he's always like, read the book, and I'm like, all right, I will. And then I haven't sat down and done it. I would like, if anyone has any suggestions for famous photographers, I would love to research that too.
I will share that. In the meantime, I'm going to, Zanelli collaborated with Philadelphia Photo Art Center in 2018, 2019, and we created a thing called the Women's Mobile Museum. And I just happen to have the magazine right here.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Let's see, we created the Women's Mobile Museum with 10 Philadelphia women artists. Anyway, next time if we meet in person, I'll share this with you. Maholi is a South African photographer and a phenom. Her retrospective at the Tate Museum was scheduled for May. Can you imagine having a mid-career retrospective at the Tate and having it postponed? Hopefully, right? What? Anyway, actually, it's there. Sorry, not her. Anyway, the other person that I want to talk to you about is Ariel Bob Willis. Created created work the similar way as you do. It's different kind of work, but
ooh, the colors. I Googled.
Okay, great. Never mind. But right, so she uses color in a way that's sort of like her work came out of an idea of trying to battle depression, and actually Ariel was a OSNAP speaker in 2019. But I love her work. I also am thinking, if you'd be interested, I'd like to send an email to the two of you introducing you to one another, because she's kind of gotten a big lift lately, and I would imagine it would be nice to see if there's a way to help connect you to kind of the resources that she's been getting lately. So featured in
Wait, is she from
Aperture.
Philly?
No, New Jersey.
Oh.
And New York. Grew up in New York. I think I don't know where they are now, because her career, since she was a speaker in 2019, y'all, dude, her career has completely skyrocketed. So she was featured at we had an exhibition of her work in 2019, or was it 2018? Anyway, just as she was starting to emerge, but she also developed her conversation with her audience through Instagram. So just like you're doing, she created this conversation through Instagram and built an audience and an important community. Yeah, her models came from Instagram, same way Yuza's doing. You know, it's very interesting the way you two have sort of built a career as portraitists and fashion photographers.
It's awesome. There's so much movement,
right?
I always see people like this, and then it's so crazy because we're always comparing ourselves. But I'm like, oh my god, this girl's so much better than me. Like her work is so cool.
You can't think that, right?
I know. You gotta stop doing that. We gotta stop comparing. Which is also, Instagram is like an amazing resource, like you said. How she like got out there, and like it's how I got out there. I don't think I would have any sort of photo career without it, to be honest. But it's also the devil. It's also like you're always comparing your life and like where you are in your career to other people, which you don't even know. You know, people only put the best aspects of their life on social media, which is another reason why I really enjoy, or I really think being transparent and honest is important, because I know people probably look at my work and think the same thing that I think when I look at other people's work, and we're all just like comparing ourselves to each other, and instead of like, I mean, we're all different people. We're all creating different work. Like her work is amazing, but like completely different from mine. And we're doing completely different things. So why even compare them? You know, it's something, you know, it's totally like a new thing too. Cause I mean, you know, keeping up with what was that saying? It was the Joneses or the Johnsons, whatever that saying is. But, you know, people have always been comparing themselves to other people and trying to keep up. But this is like a new psychology kind of crazy thing that we're dealing with. I wonder if they're going to like study this. Like this could be a class in a few years, like mental health and social media and like how they affect each other. So
they are. There's a lot of studies right now. Does anybody else want to talk? I feel like everybody's been kind of quiet. But I know I'm a pain in the ass, but hang on just a second. I just want to say one more thing about constructing your own props. Muholi totally does that with their practice, okay? Oh, talk about constructing their own props. Also, Lindeka Campi. Check it out. Look at Lindeka.
Oh, that's amazing. See?
Lindeka is also a South African photographer, and their work is based on personal experience trying to process sexual violence. So, I mean, so that's insane. That's an incredible piece. That was created for the Women's Mobile Museum. So Lindeka is a student of Muholi, but Muholi made a bunch of pictures in our backyard because they were staying with us when they were here. But that's just, we're renovating our house. That's just stuff from the house renovations.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, Muholi's work is yeah, long story. We'll keep going, but I love the suggestion about the Washington Post through the eyes of women self-portraits during the pandemic. Thank you, Ginny. Oh, and the publication is the Women's Mobile Museum magazine. We printed these and we gave them out free during the exhibition. And they're gone, I'm sorry to say.
Clicking the link. That's something that'd be cool to talk about too, actually. So a lot of people, I think it's really cool. You said that, who was it Mahuli that was talking about sexual,
Lindeka.
right. Their work was centering around or like, you know, sitting around getting through something like that. I feel like a lot of people also not something that really holds people back, but like, I don't know, I feel like I know a lot of people who like, oh, all right, woo, my merry brain is just like thinking 20 things at once. Sometimes I would like shoot with people and like the model would be like, what's the concept? Like, what are you going for? And sometimes, most of the time, I don't really have like a deep meaning behind my photos, which kind of like, I wish I did, you know? But a lot of the time it's just like this photo here. Share. We were literally in the field and I said, oh, play around with your hair. Like, I think your braids would look really cool. And so she just like did all this. And then people were like, what was going through your mind when you were capturing these? And I was like, I just thought it looked cool. And then it kind of sucks because like, but I think that it's cool that people can attach their own meanings to a photo. Like a photo can still tell a story and be emotive, is that a word? Like, emotional or whatever. And people can attach their own meaning to it, which I think is cool. And I mean, like, that's the whole point of art, right? Everyone takes it differently. And so sometimes it's kind of like having a blank canvas, not having it be about anything in particular, and people can attach their own meaning to it. That was just something I thought about when you mentioned that.
It's 100%. I mean, I love the fluidity of your creative ideas. I mean, I feel the fluidity of your creative thinking in your images. Does that make sense? I mean, when I look at an image, I feel this open sense to creating from the moment and the tools and the things around you. That's what I think is so inspiring. Somebody else talk, please.
I just wanted to say this has been absolutely amazing for me. Like I mentioned before, I've just recently picked photography back up, and I've kind of been like, all right, I need to start. I need to do something. And even just seeing how you're setting up your self-portraits, that's really, really helpful, because I'm like, I have all these props, and I'm like I promise you, I have all these props, and I'm just like, I don't know where to start. Like, I am in love with fabric too.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I'm just like, all right, you have it. You bought it. What are you going to do with it? And I get so hung up on, okay, I don't understand lighting, or I don't understand this. Then it's just like, it's very helpful to just see your process. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's not really a comment. It's just really like, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm like, yes, you're welcome. But like, that's all I want is to like literally, that's why I share what I share, because I know what it's like also to like feel like I'm in a rut, or like feel like I don't know what I'm doing, or feel like overwhelmed by the idea of putting something together. The first self-portrait I took, it took me like a month of sitting around the house doing nothing before I finally got the courage to finally shoot. Like, it took me forever, because it's like also like a fear of failure kind of thing. Like, I'm so scared, like I'm gonna shoot something, I'm not gonna like it, or it's not gonna live up to expectations or whatever. So that always stops me, but ain't nothing to it but to do it. You just gotta do it. Just play around, you know?
Yeah, and I'm like you said, trying to get over the fear of it. I do have degrees in art, but I went to study other things. So I'm pretty much an all around like studio artist, and I'm trying to get more into it. But it's kind of that pressure of, okay, everything I create has to be amazing, you know? And it's just like, but I don't know how to make this amazing because I'm new at it. So it's really helpful to kind of see your process, and even how open and candid you are. That's really, really helpful.
I always felt like it was unprofessional, but that I'm learning that people, I think, like it. So I'm like, okay, that's good. I still feel like unrehearsed all the time, but I'm glad you said that. That makes me feel a little better. Thank you.
I'm a millennial too, so it's really helpful. I'm not tech savvy either, so that's fine. And you're giving me inspiration that even though I'm not tech savvy and I'm not there yet, I can get there. And especially looking at your work. So thank you.
Thanks.
Can I ask a question?
Hey.
Hi, Mo.
Hi.
I'm wondering, and I'm sure you've seen it, but and I don't know if everyone else has seen it, but there's been a big push for, hire Black photographers. And I'm sure you've seen the databases, and at least like in the journalism industry or the photojournalism industry, it's been a big movement in the past few weeks. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think about what's going on, especially when it comes to getting hired or photographing certain things.
Actually, I think that's really awesome, and that's actually the past 2 weeks since this whole push on social media started to like support Black artists and support Black business. I've gotten like 6,000 followers just from people reposting my stuff and like sharing it and being on lists like that, and I think it's so awesome. What was it, Vogue last year? Tyler, what is his last name? Tyler
Mitchell?
I'm so bad at names. Yeah, Mitchell?
Yeah, I think
That's his name, right? Yeah. He was the first Black photographer to ever shoot the cover of Vogue. Ever.
Wow.
Which is insane. And as of now, is the only Black person to ever shoot the cover of Vogue, which is insane to me because the talent that is out there is insane. And like, so I think it's amazing. It sucks that like it took all of this to like start getting this amount of support. And I actually was just thinking the other day, like if we had done this 50 years ago, like supported Black business and supported Black artists and supported Black people in general, like where would we be now? The world would just be like a crazy different place if we had always had this amount of support. So I think it's amazing, and I think it's awesome. And to that, like something I actually saw that really pissed me off. Actually, I think it was New York Magazine had a white man cover a white photographer for their George Floyd. I was about to say their issue on George Floyd. The photo he took the photo was taken by a white man, which I thought was really interesting to have like something. I just think like. And that's a big reason why I went out and I shot the protest, because I think that like this is the first time in a while, like, or ever, that like Black people have been able to be kind of in control, or we have the ability to be in control of how this is told in history. And I think that going out and capturing this history is so important to do as a Black photographer, because for so long, like our history hasn't been told by us. And so that was crazy to me that they chose, but they got reamed out in the comments. People were like, really? Like, you didn't think this was like an opportunity you should have given a Black photojournalist, like, and they learned from that lesson. I think people are learning finally.
Yeah. He also publicly acknowledged, which is great because I think people are now openly talking about it. So he acknowledged like, okay, maybe it shouldn't have been me.
Maybe I should have turned this job down, but that's a huge opportunity. So like, I can't hate him for taking it, but the fact that that they went to him and offered it to him was pretty crazy to me. But he said he donated all the money he got paid to Black Lives Matter organization. So that was cool of him. That was a good question. Trying to read the comments too. Oh yeah, very left brain to very right. Well, I'm not a left brain person. Oh, Rosemary said that I went from a very left brain career to now using my right brain. I was never supposed to be an accountant. I actually grew up wanting to own a restaurant. So I was like, I'll go to school for business management because I thought that was important to know the business side of it. And then I was business management my first year, and then my advisor was like, you should pick something different, because I don't know, I forget why she told me to, but I was like, okay. I took one accounting class that I liked, and so I based my entire future off of one class that I took, and ended up being an accountant. And yeah, it was not for me. I never should have gone to school for that. So I've always been a right brain person. Glad I'm using it now. Oh, the meetup too. Yeah. So the meetup thing, actually, so I'm close with the people. Do you guys know the Deacon? So the Deacon is an old church at 16th and Christian, I think, that they converted into, I don't know, I want to call it's just like an event space / there's rooms. It's kind of like a personal hotel. So like people get married there and then like you can stay there. There's like 8 separate rooms, but I really want to do a meetup there where I just have like a bunch of props and like a bunch of backdrops and we all just like play around and do portraits and stuff. So that's definitely something that I'm planning. I was thinking about making it all women too, just so it's like a safe space. Yeah. I see you nodding. So yeah, that's definitely something I'm gonna work on when we're allowed to like be around people more. Cool. Because I think it's important, especially to have that sense of community. And I feel like Philly, a place like Philly, it's small, it's big, but it's small enough that you're able to build these communities, you know, and like have these little groups of artists. And the creative scene in Philly is actually pretty thriving, I think. I mean, everyone's on hold right now, but there's a lot of cool things going on, a lot of awesome artists, so I'm all for meeting up. Oh, and I wanted to make it a sleepover. That's why I mentioned it was at the Deacon. I don't know if that's correct. You know, there's just not enough adult sleepovers. You know, I want to bring those back. So I also cannot hear anyone. I see people laughing, but I cannot hear any of you. I don't know what's
I
happening.
turned off my thing because I swear to you, like it's like big speakers and sirens and it's like.
Oh, I hear the birds. That's peaceful sounding.
This has been great. I would love to keep talking because I'm having a great time, y'all. Keep the conversation going.
Yeah, anyone have questions or comments or like want to talk about their feelings or their work?
Hey, Mo.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I just wanted to say I got like really emotional looking at your work. It is so stunning, and it's so cool seeing you like rise up, especially during this time. And I absolutely can't wait to see where you go. I was curious. I have a similar feeling when I work where it's not necessarily like super planned out. It just kind of unfolds and develops. And I was wondering, what's it like for you when you know you got the shot? Does it happen like when you're in the moment, or does it happen later when you're reviewing your work?
Ooh, so I as a scattered-brained person, I also, not that I get bored of shooting, but like I typically don't shoot for more than an hour, because my mind starts wandering and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do something else. So I typically just cap it at like 45 minutes to an hour regardless. But if I know I didn't get the shot, I'll keep going. But typically, yeah, I review as I shoot. And if I feel like I got the shot already, I'm like, all right, I'm good. And that's another crazy thing. I think that I shoot how like somebody who shoots film shoots. I take my time because I don't know. I just feel like, one, I don't want to go through 1,000 photos every time I shoot because that's too much work. So I manually focus because I don't trust autofocus because it has burned me too many times, especially shooting weddings. I do not use it. It scares me. It's not reliable. So I spend particularly where I end up not being impressed at all with what I got. So I don't even share it, or like I share one photo from it because it didn't really work out. But honestly, all you need is one photo. I don't think a lot of people think you need like a whole series every time you shoot, or a whole series of photos, but like one shot can be enough, So that was a long-winded answer, but did I even answer what you asked?
Yes, totally. I was really just curious about like a little bit more about how it feels when you're working, and yeah, totally.
I like to keep it relaxed, it's chill, relaxed. It's me and the model. I play music. I like to keep it like personal and like make sure everyone's comfortable. And I ask them about a lot of times I'm meeting people for the first time. So it's all about getting people comfortable. And I think that is important and comes through in the work. because like you can it's easy to read people's emotions, and if someone's uncomfortable, like it's gonna read in the photo. So yeah, I'm just thinking, keep it relaxed, keep it cool, and if I get the shot, I do. If I don't, then try it again later.
Yeah, you can totally feel how you make other people feel in your work. You can, it comes across really loud and clear. It's awesome.
Thanks. I'm really bad at taking compliments. Thank you. Thanks.
There's a question in the chat box. What's your big dream photo goal?
I really want to. All right, I have a couple, and I think I want to reevaluate I would love to shoot the cover of Vogue, but I also kind of want to reevaluate that because, like, I'm kind of mad at them for, taking this entire time to have a Black photographer, and like, it's kind of like, do I want to be somewhere I'm like not wanted kind of feeling? But then it's also like, I want to change that. But then at this point, also back to like all these people trying to give the exposure to Black artists and stuff, it can feel like disingenuous. And I don't care about The Bachelor. I've never watched The Bachelor, but they just picked the first Black Bachelor ever, and like 4 days ago. And I'm like, oh, this is totally transparent that you literally picked him, because if you didn't, people would have been mad at you. So I'll say Rolling Stone. I would love to shoot for Rolling Stone because I really love music too. So that would be like a cool combination of the two. And I really want to go on tour with someone. I've been calling Beyonce. She does not answer my phone calls. Like, that's where I'm trying to go. I really want to go on tour. I want to travel the world, even though I hate flying. So, we'll have to figure that one out. I hate flying. But, oh, yes, the insect repellent. I will use that next time. Instead of putting that deep stuff on me, that's poison. Right? Isn't it? My boyfriend's like, what? Boyfriend's just over there in bed.
That's great.
Oh, yes, Annie Leibovitz. She has shot like 800 covers of Vogue. Like, they need to give someone else a shot. She's cool, I guess. I mean, I don't know her, but obviously I don't know Annie Leibovitz, but yeah, she does have a huge stranglehold on Vogue. How old is she? I'm not being ageist. I'm just like, she's had like a really long career. Like, maybe give someone else an opportunity. I don't know. Also, I heard people answer, but I can't hear. Is everyone muted?
What? Oh. No.
Oh, okay. Now I can hear people. How old is she? Did anyone say? She's really old. Said that. Early 60s. Yeah, good for her. But it's kind of like, what's his name? Terry Richardson, the creepy skeevy guy that had a very strange hold on like every opportunity ever, and then like got outed as a sexual predator, and like people still kind of worked with him even though they knew. It's kind of like an R. Kelly situation. People knew, but they were just like not. No one. He shot Obama, like that's huge, and that was definitely after the allegations came out. But I guess when you're untouchable like that. She's 70? Oh, dang.
70.
Hannah, can you talk about the Authority Collective, please?
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna talk about it next month, but
that's
I could it's just a quick, all the things that Mo's talking about, like these issues with how the industry's been running. Authority Collective has been working now it's coming up 3 years to try and push back against the way photography has been running. Our like one of our goals, like to decolonize photography and to challenge what seems like the norm or like standard practices. And so we've just released like a do no harm like letter when it comes to covering protests, like to be smart about how you show faces and so on. And we got a lot of pushback because, again, old school journalists are like, it's public property, you can take anyone's pictures. But we're trying to challenge people to be more thoughtful and mindful when it comes to taking pictures. We have We have a variety of things going on. They just released with Photo Shelter, like a guide to inclusive photography. So there's a lot of different things that Authority Collective does. And the collective is for women of color visual storytellers. So photo, video, if you're in AR or VR, I would highly recommend joining the collective. Like we have our own Facebook group and we really work hard to support one another, you know, share editors' names to different publications and so on. So that's just the small gist of
Awesome.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, we'll look forward to hearing again. Hannah's going to present our July OSNAP. So I forget what day that is, but it's the third Saturday. So glad to see you. Okay.
Oh, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
About that, Hannah. I'm in like a lot of photo groups on Facebook that are just scum of the earth places. I need to leave them because they're really toxic. But someone made a post about protecting the identity of protesters, and it was mainly white men were like, that completely ruins the point of photojournalism. Like, it's our responsibility to tell a story. You're censoring us. And I'm like, people are out here dying. Like, you need to, like, every single face in any photo I took, I blurred out. I blurred out tattoos, and I was still able to get published in like Vanity Fair while keeping that that integrity. Like, so you can still tell a story without exploiting people, and it's like so crazy. Like, I feel like in that group that we were talking about it, all the women were like, we totally understand that, and the people of color were like, yeah, we get it, and they were all just like, that's censoring, and like just completely being not sensitive to the fact that like people, like a woman just got arrested from photos because they compared like the shirt she got from Etsy, and like there was like some crazy way that they found out her identity and arrested her, and it's all because people weren't like, anyone with a logo on their shirt I blurred for the most part. Like it's not that hard, you know. It's a little bit extra work, and like, yeah, you might miss the money shot, but like that's not, you know, that's also something I noticed. A lot of people going out to the protests trying to like capture a viral moment or like have their photo be on the cover of something, and like I was just going there to protest, and I just happened to bring my camera, you know. I mean, I thought it was important to document, but I was a protester first and a photographer second, and I would literally see people just looking around looking for something to take a photo of instead of like actively participating and like totally exploiting the moment and the movement. But yeah, no more rambling from me, sorry. I just wanted to point that out, that it's awesome that you guys posted about that and are like trying to share that information with people because it's super important.
Who else? Somebody want to say something? One thing I was excited to see, the one model who is older.
Oh, Sarah. She's amazing. I try to be like super inclusive with my work, but I haven't been able to find a lot of older models. She's like the only one that ever reached out to me. I was super bummed.
Let's see if we can't make something happen with that.
I love that.
It was inspiring. It was beautiful. Yeah.
She's awesome too. And British people are cool. No, she lives in Australia. Boyfriend was like, I thought she was Australian.
This is great. Any more thoughts, y'all? Any more questions?
I just want to say, if you ever decide that you do want to hop on a plane, I do know some people in London that would love to shoot with you.
Oh, I want to go so bad. I've always wanted to go to London. Like, oh, that is on my list of places to go. It's fine. I'll take some Ativan, sleep. I gotta knock myself out to go overseas. Like, the idea of flying over the ocean scares the crap out of me.
It's actually not that bad. I'm telling, like, just take a night flight and you'll just sleep right through it, have some movies all lined up, and you're good. I've done it plenty of times, I promise.
Take some NyQuil, take some Benadryl. Like, I have to be asleep.
I enjoy it. It's only an 8-hour flight. 7.5.
Oh, it's okay. That's not bad. That's like California almost. California's 6, I think. 6.5.
So I do encourage you to travel, because I'm sure people all around the world love your stuff.
Thank you. I hope so. And yep, it's on my list. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
That's great. All right, I'm gonna just throw it out one more time. This has been really fun, and so I'm so grateful for how generous you are and how wonderfully talented and inspiring you are. Congrats.
Thank you.
I did put a link for to if you're interested in looking at Mo's Etsy print. She sells her prints on Etsy. You're getting lots of nice comments, but yeah, so this is great, and we can hang out and talk, or we can just, people, I appreciate your presentation, and it's been really wonderful, and I hope that you can join our conversation again in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I was super nervous, but this was chill. I liked this. Thanks, guys.